Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us in today's webinar here. And what we're going to definitely cover today is a couple of two basic topics within farming. Number one, diversifying our farm area. We definitely want to show you how you can kind of break it apart so you can market to all of the different segments within the actual farm area. And then second, we're going to do a little bit of what I like to call chessboard farming. And you'll get to see a little bit of what that is and how it can really show you how to find the little pockets that might generate the most business for you within your farm area. If you guys have any questions, feel free to use kind of the little chat feature there to type them in. I'll just definitely my best to answer them. Like I said, I'm going to take you guys through this pretty quickly and keep it as informative as possible. So we're definitely going to jump in and we're going to use our product, which is called PCT Title Toolbox. And what this is pretty much, I'm going to go ahead and log in. And this is one of the easiest to use farming tools. I'm sorry about that, guys. Just one of the easiest to use farming tools that there is out in the industry. And the reason is, it's really just kind of a natural, right? It's really lovely. A lot of easy to pull up features, which we'll kind of go through at the very basic level. So when you log in, this is what you'll see. You'll see a big map, just like this. Don't let it overwhelm you. Again, right, it's just really a big map. So again, we have three really easy options within this program. We have our property search feature, we have farming, we have statistics. Today, because of the type of webinar that this is, we're going to focus on the farming section and then the stats section. Okay? So let me show you kind of really how to break apart a farm area, right? So let's go ahead and within farming, we have a couple different options. We have a radius search, a boundary search, and then we're able to search an entire area as a whole. For our diversification example, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do a radius search. And with the radius search, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to mimic thinking if they have variety distance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in an address, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and type in this address. As you can see, you have the Google search function, which will allow you to help find that property so much more quickly, right? So when you begin to zoom in, right, it's actually going to pull up the property for you, okay? And with that, once we click on the screen, we'll be able to kind of see our radius, right? So in doing so, we have kind of our pin that we can move around, right? So we can move our circle around on the screen. Or we can use this other pin on the outside to increase the diameter of our circle or decrease it. Okay, so for now, we're just going to go ahead and kind of leave it at this side. Okay, so this is kind of the area in which we're telling our program that we're going to go ahead and we're basically going to focus on. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit next. Okay, so typically when an agent has a brand new listing, what do they normally do? Right, they tend to prepare a piece just like I'm going to show you here. Right, they tend to market their property with a flyer like this or with a postcard like this. Right? This is the type of material that they send out. But what's amazing is, here is what I want to show you that the farm area comprises of, right? For the most part, we're going to go ahead and we're going to ignore all of these tabs, and we're going to focus on our custom filters today, okay? And with that said, without entering any filters, I'm just going to hit get count, okay? Because I want this program to tell me how many properties are in my actual circle. So as you can see, there's 195 properties that are in the circle in which I drew, okay? But now, I'm going to use some of these custom filters to go ahead and begin to filter out a couple different actual demographics, right? So for example, let's take a look at empty nesters, right? Empty nesters are categorized as anybody who's pretty much owned their home for over 30 years and has 3+ bedrooms, right? So let's go ahead and get a count for that. So as you can see, we have 40 properties, right? Out of those 195, 40 of them are actual empty nesters, okay? go ahead and let's take that filter off. Let's go ahead and let's pull up our next sellers, right? So next sellers is a way for this program to pretty much predict the future, right? Who are the next sellers? Who is likely within the next 12 months to actually sell their property? And the way we do this is pretty much by using simple methods, right? So let me show you how many actually pull up and then how they actually calculate. Okay, so I'm going to get counted. So 8 properties. These are 8 potential candidates that are considered a prospective next seller, right? And what they do is they take the average years owned of the entire area in which we're analyzing, right? So let's assume this entire area here, on average, all these 195 homes, people own their home for about 10 years, right? So knowing our average years is 10, when we look for all prospective next sellers, it's going to give us anybody that is in the 9th year, 10th year, or 11th year of home ownership, which means, right, these people are the most likely to sell their home in the next 12 months based off that 10-year average. Okay? I was horrible at math in high school, but that one I was definitely able to easily understand in terms of how to calculate it. So, okay, for those of us that have kind of joined us late, what we did was we pretty much broke apart our entire farm, and in this circle that we drew, there's a total of 195 properties, right? So we're using our farming section, and we're using our custom filters to filter out different types of clients within there, right? Right now, we're looking at all next sellers within the farm area, right? And it pulled up 8 people. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this. And maybe let's go ahead and maybe we're looking to sell our listing. So we definitely want to target all renters, right? So what do? We can definitely click on our non-owner tab and click yes. Let's get count. 48 properties, right? 48 properties. So now these are 48 potential renters who might be interested in purchasing the home that you're selling, right? So the key is you guys are not paid by the hour. Your marketing budgets oftentimes are not that large, right? So what this program is allowing you to do is looking at the different types of potential clients that are within your farm area, right? As I showed you a few minutes ago, typically an agent will pass out a piece like this, right? And assume it's going to appeal to everybody in a circle like this. And it really doesn't, right? Because as you can see, we were able to easily pull up 8 potential next sellers. There was 40 empty nesters, and now we have 48 potential renters, right? So the same marketing piece is not going to appeal to everybody, right? It's about understanding, great, what type of homeowners, renters are within my farm area so that I can best market to them. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see that a lot of agents think. Their intent is there, the hard work is there, but they're just not targeting as accurately as they can. And a tool like this really allows you to do so. So we were able to definitely pull up a couple of different farming demographics, just using, again, the farming section, our radius, and then within our little white box that pulls up here, right, the custom filters tab. Now, a lot of agents get really creative in terms of how they build a farm using this, right? As you can see, there was a bunch of different other tabs. I didn't go into them because, again, I want to kind of give you an overview of what this tool does, but how quickly you can pull up information from it. For example, I want to show you kind of a scenario that a lot of agents use and have success with. For example, they like to pull up empty nesters, okay? So let's hit our get count, okay? So it's 40 properties, right? 40 potential empty nesters, but they also add a layer to that, and they say, give me all empty nesters that have 2-story homes. We all know exactly how hard it is for people to get up and get down, go up and go down from the stairs. So as you get older, it just makes it really difficult for them. So we go ahead and say, great, show me all the empty nesters with 2-story homes, right? And that could potentially take our list of 40 down to maybe 15 down to 16. It's definitely easier to market to a list of 16 people consistently than it is to a people of 180. Again, right? The magic word in marketing is called frequency. It's the amount of times people see your advertisement or see your postcard or see your flyer, right? So on average, it's about 5 to 6 times that they actually need to see it in order for them to take the action that you want them to take. Right? Here's a perfect example that I always use. There's a locksmith at the corner of your house. You've driven by them 1,000 times, right? But not until you actually need a key or you remember that they're there. Because it's already etched in your brain. You've driven by them 1,000 times. You see them, so you know exactly where to find them. So you want to treat your farm area the exact same way. Make it small enough, segment it, so you can continue to market to it, and not necessarily just kind of go mark to it, conduct marketing in the area, and then not come back for 3 to 4 months. By that time, your competitors have been there 5 to 6 times. Potentially, they're picking up the listing that could have been yours. So that's how easy it is to pretty much diversify your area. Now, again, in the export section, you can definitely create a walking farm, you can do a 500 farm, you can do CSV, you can create labels, you can do all of the awesome stuff that a customer service department can do for you. It's in the power of your hand there, but again, what I want to show you guys today in the diversifying part of our webinar is great. How you can take your area, use our custom filters, and break it apart with all of these different sections, right? Empty nesters, out-of-state owners, non-owners, which technically equals renters, and next sellers, which is right is a way to kind of predict the future as to who is most likely going to sell within the next 12 months. So that's definitely the diversifying our farm section. Okay, everybody. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into the area that I call chessboard market. And that really is my absolute favorite. And here's why. Okay, because it pretty much allows us to see all of the pieces on the chessboard. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use our stat section. Okay, in that stat section, we also have, again, right, we're able to do a radius search, we're able to do a boundary, but we're going to focus on the area, because I want to show you a large area as a whole. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead to California, Los Angeles. Let's go ahead and choose a different city, right? So maybe let's go into kind of the valley, and I'm going to choose Granada Hills, okay? So I have my state, my county, my city, the types of properties I'm looking for, and here is something that's very important. It says area type, but in the program, it really should say kind of how you want to group the property. Okay? And again, this is how we're telling the program that I want you to actually group the properties. And today, we're going to have it grouped by carrier route. And for those of you that are familiar with every-door direct mailing, then you know how important the carrier route is. So for those of us that are not, let me just go ahead and kind of set this version down. When an agent wants a blanket area, right, to get his marketing to every single property within a specific farm area, every-door direct mailing is his best option. Why? For 2 reasons. Number one, price, right? It's going to take your per piece cost down from 51 cents all the way down to 16.5 cents. That's a huge difference. I mean, that can make or break your campaign. And number two, it's going to deliver every single property on a given mail route. Now, a mail route can consist of 10 properties all the way up to 500. So as you can see, that's the absolute best way for you to blanket any given area. So that's just kind of a little tidbit there, right? So here you can definitely enter a little bit more information, but we're actually not going to do that because we want to get the most amount of results back right now. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hit search. Okay, so I want you to see exactly what's going to happen, what they're going to find, right? So it gave me back 35 results in 9, right? But these are not 35 different properties. These are 35 different mail routes. And here is why I love this section so much, because this is my chessboard. Okay, each of these is a mail route, right? It's giving me all of the key stats that I'm looking for on that mail route, So I can find the pockets within Granada Hills that are going to generate the most amount of business, right? So first and foremost, focus on number of units, right? So this tells you how many properties are actually on that mail route. Okay, so for example, this one has 390, this one has 394, 453, 401, right? Then it tells you how many actual sales there's been in the last 12 months, right? What the actual turnover ratio is, right? What the average sales price, the average years owned, right? So how many, what's the average someone owns their property within that specific mail route? And then the non-owner occupied ratio, right? So the way I like to word that is the ratio per amount of renters in a given area, right? So now me as an agent, I can literally pick where do I want to farm in Granada Hills, right? What's going to be the area that I'm looking for? So for example, am I looking for higher end homes, right? Well, I can see here there's an average sales price of $5 million, right? Or an average sales price of $922,000, right? So those two mail routes have higher end homes, right? Or maybe I want to kind of go to the opposite end of the spectrum, right? So I would look for maybe a mail route that has something along maybe the $500,000 range, $400,000 range, right? Or if I was targeting empty nesters, right? I'm going to look at this column. Now I'm going to say, okay, great. Which is the column that has the longest average years owned? Right? This one is just at 20 years, 19.9, right? So then I would target that, right? And again, so you kind of see the concept where now it's saying that the entire chessboard is there. And really, you can really plan out your next move. Or maybe, again, right, you have a brand new listing and you want to target it to all renters or a section of renters in Granada Hills. Let's look at our last column and let's find out out of all of these different mail routes, which one has the highest amount of non-owner occupied homes, right? This one here is 35%, right? So 35% of this 157 are being rented, right? So again, that's going to maximize your ability to get that listing, move that listing, find your brand new buyer. Okay, so now, for example, let's say we definitely want to move our listing. This is a mail route that we want to choose. All you need to do now, go ahead and hit select. All right. That's going to go pull up this little white box. Now, if you wanted to refine it even further, you can definitely add more criteria here. But today, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go ahead and get our count. Okay. We're just going to match that 157 that shit over there, just like that. And then we're going to view our records. Yeah, right. So now, we're able to take action. Now, we can definitely either create labels, do a mailing, create a 5-line form. We can do literally anything we'd like to do with our 157 property tax codes. So it puts them all on the map. So if you definitely want to door knock, grouping your properties by the mail route is ultimately the best way to go because it's going to put them all right next to each other for the most part. Whenever you kind of, what I see a lot of you doing, what you definitely want to do, door knocking is you get a list, but you'll come to find out that one property is up here, the other property is down here, the other property is right here. So you find yourself driving a lot more than you're actually wanting. So again, right, the stats section presents every single mail route within a specific city, kind of like a chessboard, and it will allow you to find the pockets within that city that might be the most fruitful for you. So these are the type of things that we kind of like to present to agents and show you how you can kind of leverage the tools that we have. Just to give you a little bit about my background, basically bachelor's and a master's in marketing. It's all been geared, within the real estate industry and technology. So that's kind of how I can appeal to you guys and kind of show you how you can kind of combine marketing, combine technology, and the tools that we offer at Pacific Coast to kind of help you generate new business. Now, for those of you that joined us and definitely want to know a little bit more about this, you can definitely email me or email your rep. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my email so you guys can see it, and it's going to message all of you that are on here. So that's my email there. If you guys have any questions in regards to the webinar, or if you want a recorded copy of it, we will be glad to send it to you. But definitely, if you aren't already set up with Title Toolbox, or you definitely want to get a little bit more experience with it, definitely reach out to your rep. Most of our guys know it. Actually, all of our guys know it at the back of their hand. So you will definitely be in good hands. Or if you're interested in us giving a presentation at your office, we definitely are more than open to do so. So again, I just definitely want to thank all of you guys. I know you guys are very busy. It's Thursday. We're going to probably get ready for open house and things like that. So again, thank you for joining us.